Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting, where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlock tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, you're in ground, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw, bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title belts, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am 1/3 of the greatest mixed tag team in podcasting, the Legend Jack. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And, of course, the first lady of wrestling podcast, the Vipers.
Hi, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're close to Christmas. We got very little going on in the wrestling world as far as the pros.
Other than John Cena's final match tonight.
And that's about all I've heard all week. I swear. I do have
sick of it.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of it myself. It's been a year. It's dragging on.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate to see... I hate any time when a performer has to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? Whether I like them or not, because it does, it the business isn't as great whenever those people aren't there. You know what I'm saying? Or, the thought of them being there isn't there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, when, Brett or Sean or Hulk or anybody had, ended up having to give it up because they just couldn't go anymore.
That's
the business suffers. The business suffers, and not necessarily going to go in the toilet. It suffers, but it's like, it's nostalgic, it makes reminisce. Lord, 20 years have went by that quick, blah, 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 just different stuff like that. So, I mean, as much as like I'm not a big John Cena fan and I'm not like heartbroken like I was whenever, Sean lost to Taker and I knew that was it, that was the last time. Little did we know Saudi Arabia was going to offer a big bunch of money, but it just, I don't know. It's nostalgic. But I think that I don't think that they've handled this tour right. I don't think they've handled this tournament right. I just don't think that they've done a good job with the whole John Cena's not going to be here after this year.
Man, I guess I got a little bit of a different perspective. I know one of the hardest things for people to do is for change and shit, but things have to go on, I mean, like, yeah. I think, he was good in his era. He was he kept the WWE, alive, and, was the leader, during, some good times, bad times, and all that. I think he's earned his retirement. I'm not exactly really happy with the whole final tour. I just see it more as like a money grab. I don't really think it was necessary. I mean, they could have done... I don't know what they could have done different, but I still feel like they could have done something different. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been a huge John Cena fan, but I do respect all that he's done for wrestling. It's just, let's just let the man have the match and go on. And I'm just more interested in seeing whether he's going to lose or like win at the end, pretty much, really.
Vipers.
I could care less. I was the major John Cena fan back in the day. Like, I was in love with the man, if you want to say, back in the day. But then you grow and you learn. I feel like this whole retirement tour has been nothing but an ego trip. That's it. Just one last ego trip. And then at the same time, I don't think, I mean, I understand that everybody's like, oh, it's just a Legends deal and an ambassador deal. And yeah, my ass. I'm sure that if they said, hey, will you come and do one more match or whatever, he would do it. And then
Exactly.
even on top of that, within the last 24 hours, I've heard tell that there is a rumor that there's going to be a John Cena Rock match at, I don't think it's this next WrestleMania, but the following WrestleMania. So don't tell me that, this is going to be his last match with somebody that's already established. I don't care. I don't care.
I look at it kind of like
I'd be glad when this match is over because then we ain't got to hear it no more.
yeah, like I said, it's kind of like comic books and shit. People never really die or go away. He's gonna come back for, like you said, WrestleMania. He's gonna come back for some special event. Like this ain't that real end of. Now we won't see him regularly or anything, but yeah, he's gonna pop up at least once or twice a
Right.
year. Maybe beat the shit out of somebody and or come save the day, and then he'll be gone. So it's not
Yep.
really bye bye. It's just he's not gonna be consistent. And
And
what's
back
the
to what you say. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like I was just gonna say, I mean, it's just pretty much like any other wrestler now who's got the champ belt. You don't really wrestle that much and shit. You see him once every so often. They might wrestle here and there, except for his, it's just gonna be even less than that. So no big
hmm
deal.
And back to what Legend was saying about nostalgia, why do we have to constantly keep living in the past? Like, why can't we just move on? There's bigger and better things than having to go back and watch John Cena's stupid ass five knuckle shuffle all the time.
I mean, I agree with that to an extent. Like, what I was going to say is I respect the fact that he realizes that his body's starting to break down. Like I was reading an interview and he said his hips are just jacked up now. And
Okay,
that's why he you see him kind of bending a little bit at his lower back, leaning forward and stuff because his hips are just all out of whack and everything. And I respect the fact that he notices that he's slowing down. So he's willing to say, okay, I'm not going to keep, I'm going to do a farewell tour, but I'm not going to keep going out there and, try to take on a whole schedule and, take the spotlight, this, that, and the other. It's just time for me to step back and step away.
Okay, then why come back after a few years and then do an entire effing year just to retire if you're that? What do you mean that wasn't just him?
That wasn't just him. That was WWE wanting to do that.
He didn't have to agree to it.
That's
if
a
somebody
money grab.
if somebody throws $10 million in your face to do it, would you do it?
Well, yeah.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I would. Like
Okay,
I'm gonna do
don't say thank you because I am a poor woman in the United States. He is one of the richest men in the entire United States. He didn't need $10 million, did he?
He needs
So you
it or
can't
not,
say
he
that
has
that's the
the right
same
to
damn
take it if
thing.
he gets it. I'm not saying
No, you cannot say that's the same thing.
nobody's
say that's the same
comparing
thing.
that. Nobody's
just did.
comparing that. No,
You
I
just
didn't.
did.
You did. I just said that anybody would take $10 million if they were offered $10 million. I didn't say it had anything to do with poor or rich.
Like I said, I can't hate
You're
the man for
comparing
going
apples and
after
oranges.
his money or whatever because this is but it's just the way he went about it. Kind of like LeBron with the whole the way he exited the Cavs and shit. Like we didn't have to go through this big hurrah, but they did it because they wanted to make more money. They know
Right.
that fans are going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to get these tickets because it's going to be the last time I see John Cena. I'll buy this T-shirt because it's going to be the last time I can buy this T-shirt from
Right.
blah blah blah." Do I want to see it? Because there's been plenty of other wrestlers who've retired and they didn't get this big hoopla. They didn't get the tour and this and that. But like I said, it's all about money because John Cena is a marketable person. He'll sell a lot of fucking T-shirts. He'll sell out some fucking arenas, and
I still think it's ego.
I mean, so I see why he's doing it. Like I said, I think there could have been a better way, but I ain't gonna hate on the man for getting his money because
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying. Because it's his money to get. You know what I'm saying. I mean, I wouldn't leave all that money on the table. I mean,
Nope.
honestly, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, there's better ways he could have done about it for me. But like I said, that's just him.
Do
You know what
you
I'm saying?
think it would have been the whole tour thing would have been better? Would have just come back and no tour was announced. And then once it got closer to his retirement, said, okay, we're gonna John Cena's retiring. This is gonna be, his last, 4 or 5 matches instead of his last 30 appearances, and
I,
dragging it on for so long.
I think they should have done it the way they did every other wrestler's retirement and shit. I think
Announce it
they,
like at the end of it, do like a
yeah,
retirement match, have it
yeah,
storylined.
yeah. Like I
I
said,
agree with that. I think it
and
would
just
have been
let,
received a lot better than,
well,
because I think people by midway just got, they were burnt out with the whole, okay, John Cena's retiring. We get that, you know.
but I think it filled up arenas. I think it sold a
Yep.
lot of shirts. I think it sold a lot of merch, and I think you got a cut of all that shit. So and so, but like I said, hopefully, like I said, tonight's the last night for the match, and then we don't have to worry about him again for
Last
until
time is,
last
thank
time for
God.
about a year or so. He'll pop
Right.
up at WrestleMania or some shit, or
Until
Royal
Saudi
Rumble.
Arabia.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
see, this leads me into my next thing, because everybody's talking about WrestleMania, and there is a rumor that, and I could honestly see him, not wrestling till WrestleMania again, but there is a rumor that The Rock is going to appear tonight at Saturday night's main event.
Oh, I've already heard that he's going. It has to do something with John Cena.
Yeah,
I can see that.
but
I
see, that's
heard
the
the one that
thing.
I heard though was that he's going to tell Cena that he can't retire
Yeah, because he still owns his soul,
because
and
he still owns his soul. Yeah, because that storyline has still yet to be finished.
and they're going to try to finish it at WrestleMania, which I think,
Hence the John Cena The Rock match that I said earlier.
yeah, right. And that's what I was saying is, I'm wondering if tonight's John Cena's last match, quote unquote, is actually just a story.
It could be.
And then, I mean, look at the Seth Rollins thing. We thought he was legitimately hurt, and then he come out, and then of course he did get legitimately hurt. Shows you shouldn't lie. But no, I'm honestly and truthfully wondering, because it's so underwhelming to have John Cena versus Gunther as his final match. Why does Gunther get the notoriety of retiring John Cena and Bill Goldberg? You see what I'm saying?
Nobody cares.
That's
about
what
Bill
I was going to
Goldberg.
bring up.
Nobody gives a shit about Bill Goldberg.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. But
No,
I'm
but
saying
it's the point that he retired both men.
right. And I love Gunther, but Gunther is not there yet. He's not up here yet.
Maybe he's supposed to be like
I
the
don't
next
see how
Randy
he's not.
Orton, like a legend killer type deal and shit. Like I retired so and so. I retired so and so.
But see, I think they whenever they let maybe
I don't like
about
that.
Jey Uso.
You what now?
I think they killed that whole killer vibe of who am I thinking?
When Jey Uso made him tap out.
Yeah, Gunther. Yeah,
In like 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, like that made no sense. Like to me, it killed that entire, because up until that point, Gunther was a killer. He was going to rip your head off in that ring, and then taps out to mid card Jey Uso.
Well, maybe Gunther was injured or whatever.
Gunther had needed nose surgery. That's why he already had previous nose surgery. That's the reason why the storyline ended with Jey winning, but Gunther having like a broken nose, because Gunther needed nose surgery that had nothing to do with wrestling.
And I think he was getting married at the time too, because he had just got married.
I think so too.
Yeah. So, like maybe it was a combination of things. I don't really know. You know what I'm saying?
I just think there was a better way to beat him than have him look like a bitch and tap out. You know what I'm saying? To me, that killed his character. And his character was this ruthless, mean, I'm going to rip your head off wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't flashy. He wasn't, he would chop the shit out of you. His power bombs were hard. You know what I'm saying? I think he was, I'm wondering now if he's going to have that same if he's going to be the same Gunther as before. And because of that, I don't see what makes him being the guy who gets to retire both these men. That's why I'm leaning more towards this is a storyline, and the actual retirement of John Cena is going to happen at WrestleMania. But therein, it's stupid that The Rock is going to retire him, because The Rock's retired pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this is making any sense whatsoever.
I don't know. Like I said,
I mean, you can say that about a lot of John Cena's whole freaking story retirement thing. Like, what was the point of Brock coming out there and massively destroying John Cena and literally nothing being said or done about it?
And except for John Cena, man, yeah, he's great. You know, that was it. You know, there was
Nothing. Not a thing.
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, that would be definitely that'd be a different swerve. I would be a little upset because I had to listen to the bullshit for like a year and then he's not gone. But I would be I would rather see The Rock retire him than I would fucking Gunther and shit, because it makes more sense. Two icons, two of the biggest, take each other out. So I would be okay with the swerve, but at the same time, I'd be like, man, you mean I had to listen to this bullshit for a year that he's going somewhere and he's not going somewhere?
See, and that's the thing.
That's
I
my
just
problem.
don't think The Rock needs it. You know, to me,
Well,
if
obviously,
you're
The
going to
Rock doesn't
retire,
need it.
right?
The Rock
But
don't
if you're
need
going to
shit.
retire
Ego
him,
does.
retire him with somebody who needs the push. You know what I'm saying?
Like who? Because they're not doing it to LA.
Any fucking body.
Cody doesn't need. LA
Do
Knight
not.
would be the best push.
Quit saying LA Knight, because it is a political move and they just threw him out of the
understand that.
WWE.
I
They hate
understand
him.
that, but that doesn't mean that it's
Then
still
you
not the
Pick
best
somebody
move.
else.
So
But I'm not going to
we're
pick
gonna-
somebody else. My opinion is that LA Knight would be the best option to have him retire John Cena to give him a push. But Cody doesn't need it. Roman doesn't need it. You know, CM Punk doesn't need it. You're going to have to
I don't
get
think any of
somebody
them need
like
it.
an
What about
Oba
Braun
Femi.
Breaker? What about
Braun Breaker could work. You know what I'm saying? Oba Femi.
Okay.
You know, there's plenty of people that could
I don't know about
actually
Oba Femi.
retire John Cena
Not
and-
Oba
and
Femi.
benefit from it.
He hasn't earned it yet.
Right. I'm just throwing younger names out there and
Yeah.
everything, but there's people out there who are younger names that are not ex wrestlers who have come back, like The Rock, or people who just don't need the push retiring him. Let's give it to somebody. If this is a story and he's really not going to retire, instead of The Rock wrestling him at WrestleMania, let The Rock bring somebody out to wrestle for him, retire him, and then that's The Rock's new guy. You see what
That's
I'm
an
saying?
idea.
Finish that story off that you started a year ago, and nobody knows what the hell happened to it, because apparently I was reading something that the reason that they didn't go on with it is because Travis Scott realized that wrestling wasn't going to be for him. Because
Travis Scott didn't show up to a show and made them have to rechange everything.
Right, that's why. That's one of the reasons why. And he was talking about, because Travis Scott realized that wrestling's a little bit more physical than what he realized and everything, and he just didn't do it. So
His
it
ass
just
is
became
soft.
like, right. That's what I read. I don't know how true it is, but I'm just like,
Logan Paul's the one that said that.
I wouldn't mind Logan Paul beating him. I think I don't like Logan
That's
Paul.
even
But
an
Logan
option.
Paul's one of the best bad guys on TV right now.
No. Last thing I want to hear about is Logan Paul brag about the rest of his life he fucking beat John Cena.
That he beat John Cena? Oh my
I don't-
God.
I don't like him either. I'm not a huge fan as far as his character and everything. But again, maybe that's why he's so good. And I got a feeling Logan Paul is going to end up being, in the next 10 years, Logan Paul is going to be one of your top heels in the business. And it surprised me just in 10 years, when we revisit this in 10 years, my prediction is that Logan Paul is going to be at least a 2 or 3 time world heavyweight champion. I just think he's that good in the ring. He's that serious about learning the business. And, look what he's learning now. He's hanging around with Paul Heyman all the time now. So, he's, getting some good
Gotta be
knowledge.
learning something.
I hope he's just soaking it in.
Well, see, Paul is a good person. I mean, to develop young talent and shit. So
big time.
yeah, he's actually a perfect person.
Well, speaking of old guys, I know y'all are going to love this. Fans are calling Chris Jericho a sellout because it was reported that he will be back in the WWE in 2026. And people are predicting that he is going to be the mystery entrant in the Royal Rumble.
Yep. Do you all not know about him dropping on his X account the Jericho timer?
Yep.
If that doesn't tell you that, I don't know what does.
Your response right there, Uncle Slam, was great. He said, "Oh, so
He is not impressed at all.
I just don't care anymore. It's just
I'm so sick of it too.
I don't
whole
want
another
to
year.
I don't want to see a year-long Jericho tour. I'll tell you that much.
No.
If he's going to come
I'll tell
back
you
and
what.
retire in the WWE, let's get it done by WrestleMania and call it a day.
I'm more interested in an AJ Styles retirement year match or your retirement tour than I am John Cena or Chris Jericho, because at least AJ Styles has literally been in it and not just half-assed the bullshit for the last 5-10 years. Which Chris Jericho's done a lot more than John Cena has, but I'm just saying, like,
I think whole leaving and going to Hollywood and then taking on a lesser role in the wrestling business, I get how that helps the star. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely helped Cena. It's definitely helped, you know what I'm saying? They're making more money doing movies than they were wrestling. But is just looking at it from the wrestling world, it doesn't help your stock at all. Because wrestling fans are as much as we love nostalgic things, we are very quick to be out of sight, out of mind.
If you're not on TV, you're not thought about, really.
That's it. It's like, you know, I don't know how many times I have sat and watched, you know, Raw or, you know, Nitro or, you know, Saturday night's main event, you know, not Saturday night's main event, WCW Saturday night, you know, and the Sunday night shows and stuff. And I don't know how many times I've sat there and watched them and not even thought about a wrestler for 3 or 4 months. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, they're coming back tonight, you know? And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even realize they were gone. You know, I didn't even realize I hadn't watched them wrestle in that long, you know?
Yeah.
And it's when you, I guess, when you do a good story, which WWE is not doing great on the main rosters, but when you do a good story, it's easy to forget, you know, or not forget, but again, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
You know, to me it is. So, I mean, I don't think that in the wrestling world, it helps them at all to go to Hollywood. In their pocketbook and their personal world, it helps tremendously. You know, The Rock's almost a billionaire at this point because of movies and, you know, the money he's made being able to invest it.
I think before, you know, like if you're a movie star and, you know, or you were in movies or television and then you come there, people don't like you as much. But after, you know, but if you're already established wrestler and then you go do movies, I don't think people care as much and shit. Like, I don't think it matters because I think it's worked for Cena, it's worked for Stone Cold, and WWE's got a production company anyway and shit. I mean, for the longest, hell, they were making their own movies. So, I mean, obviously they've noticed, you know, there's money to be made somewhere. Now, a lot of those went straight to video and shit, but
some of them weren't too bad, to be honest with you. That one with Kane was pretty good. That See No Evil.
Yeah, and then the Stone Cold one with the like Left for Dead.
The Condemned.
Yeah, Condemned.
Yeah,
or what it was like the first
one. But see, that's what I respected about Stone Cold is Stone Cold realized after making that movie making's not for me. It's too demanding, you know, blah, blah, blah. I would rather just make my name off of, you know, what he ended up doing, this Broken Skull Challenge, a reality show instead of doing an actual movie. You know what I'm saying? It was something he could film quick, be done. But I don't see Stone Cold being like, I've always looked at Stone Cold and The Rock like Bird and Magic. One liked the glitz and glamour, you know what I'm saying, and the other one didn't in their private lives. You know what I'm saying? Stone Cold would rather be sitting in a tree stand on his, farm hunting a deer by himself than he would being at a Hollywood premiere. The Rock, I can see being totally the opposite, and that's just the way I've always viewed it. But I think that, I think Stone Cold is the one that realized this ain't for me. I'm gonna do a few reality shows, do some podcasting, and just call it
Love
a day.
his TikToks.
Oh yeah,
cats.
Stone Cold ain't right. But yeah, I don't know about Jericho coming back. I mean, I'm happy to see him come back and retire with the WWE, and I wish WCW was around to where he could retire there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where he really got his big start, big break, but it's not. And the next best thing is the WWE. Do I want to see a big old long tour like John Cena? Please, God, no. Nobody wants to see that. And I think I can speak for everybody on this panel that nobody wants to see a Jericho tour. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe that's what they could do with LA Knight. If they're not going to do anything with him with Cena and the big time, let him retire Jericho. At least that would be some kind of a push for the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just burying him left and right.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It's sad. You touched on this earlier, Viperous, about this John Cena signing a 5-year contract to be an ambassador for the WWE.
Yeah. That's how I know it's not over. I don't care if you say it's an ambassador. Right, it doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? What do you have to do for the WWE being an ambassador? You're just,
You go overseas or you go to different places and you talk good about WWE and this, that, and the other. It's not the end.
I just think,
guys.
Why don't we, instead of calling him an ambassador, why don't we just call it what it is? He's on a Legends contract. You know what I'm saying? But instead of calling it a Legends contract, they're calling it an ambassador contract so they can pay him more than they're paying the people on the Legends contracts. That's just my take on it. I think they've switched the name of it so that way they can just say, hey, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, we have got Jesse Ventura coming back tonight for Saturday night.
I think that's going to be a big mistake. He's going to say something that WWE is going to regret. I guarantee it.
I'm just waiting for Jesse Ventura to start talking about 9/11 or something.
Oh my God, don't.
I am totally waiting on it. Did you know that the steel didn't melt the way they said it did?
Vince had something to do with that too, don't you?
Right. Vince McMahon had something to do with the towers falling.
Oh my goodness.
Because he wasn't in Titan Towers that day. Did you know that, Shivani?
Oh, stupid.
That's terrible.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Jesse. It's real hard to go back and listen to some of his commentary because, it's hard to go back and listen to a lot of the commentary back then because there were a whole lot of racial undertones that were being used in commentary back then. And
it was the 80s.
Right. And I'll be sitting here, I'll have one on, I'll be doing something on the computer like a PLE from the past and everything, and I'll be sitting here doing something on the computer and I'll hear one of them say something. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, and I probably, nobody blinked whenever they said it back then, you know what I'm saying? But like now I was like, wow, they couldn't do that today. But yeah, old Jesse's supposed to come back tonight. I don't know whether or not that's going to be like full-time commentary or if it's going to be.
It's probably
just for tonight.
Yeah.
So this one's, I want to see how you feel about this one, Viperous, because you're the one who watches this show more. And we're talking about Legends.
Oh my God, I have a story about that. So if you want to take that one down, I've got a story about it.
Okay. Well, I'll take it down and then I'll come to it next, and then we'll
Okay.
segue into your stories after that. Unless Uncle Slam, do you have any stories?
Not really and shit.
He said, no,
Not
not
really.
really.
No.
So I just thought this would be fun. If you were going to sit down at any of these tables and eat with these, who would you sit down with? The first table is Mankind,
hard.
The Rock, Stone Cold. The second table is Shawn, Triple H, and The Undertaker. The third table is, I believe, that's Randy Orton. No, that's Batista, Randy Orton, and John Cena. And then we got Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and mid-card Jey Uso, I believe that is. Or is that CM
No,
Punk?
actually, I think that's Roman Reigns.
Is it Roman? Okay, well, I
Where?
won't insult him.
On that table 4 on
the
the
left?
left-hand side.
Yeah, that's Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who made these pictures, but this picture.
Yeah,
is,
the AI is terrible sometimes.
Yeah, AI
in
is
these.
terrible. Oh my god, you guys.
Which table are you sitting down at, Vipers?
It's hard because I would have to say probably table 3, but that's just because I can't see John Cena, so I won't have to listen to him.
Every time he starts talking, just ignore him. And whenever he's like, "Why is she ignoring me?" I don't think she can.
Like,
see
I
me.
can't see you. I can't
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah, but you can hear me.
Or I thought that was the wind.
Right?
But probably just
I thought
don't know, it's
Batista was
hard because
passing
even
gas.
table two would be kind of amazing too, actually. That's a
Which
hard
one
one.
are you going with, Uncle Slam?
I'd probably go with one, honestly. Like I said, I think between Stone Cold, The Rock, and Mankind, I think you would, you got a wealth of knowledge. Mick Foley's been around for a long time. Stone Cold and The Rock have been, basically brought back wrestling and shit. And now The Rock's like a Hollywood star. Now, I think there's a lot of knowledge on table 2 and shit between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker because I think they've seen a lot, done a lot and shit. You know what I'm saying? Plus
I was
Triple H
thinking
too.
story-wise, like the shit they've done.
But I would probably go with The Rock, The Undertaker, and Mankind, table 1.
Look at the table.
I wouldn't be disappointed sitting down at any of these tables, but if I had to, I mean, just being a podcaster now, and just knowing you got to put the bias aside, whether or not you like a wrestler or not, you just sit down and talk to them and listen to what they got to say because they have been there and done it, regardless of whether you're a fan of them in the ring or not.
Yeah.
It's very well noted that me and Uncle Slam cannot stand Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart on either side, from one of us. I'm a Shawn fan,
Yeah.
he's a Bret fan. But I don't think either one of us would, shy away at having one or the other on the show and talking to them just to hear what they got to say. You know what I'm saying? They were superstars for a reason, so they know something. And that's, every one of these people at these tables. But if I had to choose, it would be hard to choose between 1 and 2, but I couldn't be disappointed at any table I would sit down at, because I mean, you look at it in all tables except for 2, you've got multi-generational families.
Talent, yeah.
The Rhodes family, the I can't say them, the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah.
Then you got Randy Orton, he's a 3rd generation star. The Rock, he's still part of that bloodline family. It's just the only table that doesn't have 2nd generations is the second one. But again, they were all
that's right there.
right. I mean, as much as I hate to say this, because I loved Hulk so much, I personally think The Undertaker is the single greatest character that the WWF ever came up with. He's the longest tenured character. It was just amazing. The way he was able to carry that character on for 30 years.
Mhm.
I mean, and plus he evolved it and changed it to where it wasn't stale. There's just so much knowledge at these tables that you couldn't go wrong with any one of them. But I probably, because of me being such a fan, I would sit down at 2 first if I had
I
to,
figured
just
you
because of
would.
Sean.
I knew that.
So I'm going to do this, and we'll segue into the Vipers' stories from this. But speaking of legends, or what, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't know that you could even call her a legend, because I can't remember personally anything memorable that she ever did than marry the Undertaker. But Natalia Neidhart is taking
what?
Natalia Neidhart is taking Michelle McCool's place.
Sorry.
On LFG next season.
Thank God.
But I think the reasoning that's happening is because Michelle just came out the other day in an article I read and said she thinks she has one more run in her. So Michelle's coming back, and that's what I'm saying. Michelle's coming back to have another run, but
I'd rather have Natty as a coach than Michelle McCool. I'm just going to say that. I don't want Michelle McCool having another run or anything like that. But in all honesty, I think Natty would be a better coach than Michelle is. I watched the show from the very beginning.
I just don't care about a Michelle McCool run.
Nope,
I didn't care about a Nikki Bella run.
Is she coming back or something?
Well, Michelle McCool came out the other day in an article and said she thinks she has one more run left in her. In the WWE. And now it comes out that Natalia Neidhart is taking over for Michelle McCool on LFG, which only leads me to believe that Michelle McCool's going to make one more run. And I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing about Michelle McCool having one more run that I care about. She comes from that generation of female wrestlers, and I don't mean any disrespect, because they opened up the door for the ladies that are there now. But she comes from that generation of wrestlers that were trying. They weren't getting trained correct, but they were still getting sent out there to do things. And I mean, hats off to Michelle McCool, because she did, I feel like she learned a little bit better than the Trishas and the Litas and stuff. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't good wrestling whenever she was around. And I just don't. And look at Nikki Bella. You know what I'm saying? It's just not good when she's in the ring. I would 10 times. Right. And I would 10 times rather see these girls nowadays wrestling. And, than to see any of those come back. As much as I love the Trishas and the Litas and all that stuff and everything for what they did opening up the doors, I don't want to see them in the ring. Let them be ambassadors too.
Well, my personal opinion is Michelle McCool only got the LFG job because of her husband, The Undertaker.
Who was it replaced?
I'm sorry? Mickey James.
That's it. Yeah. And see, that was all political.
And Mickey James was so much better at it than Michelle McCool was. You could see the total difference between seasons. Right there. And then all of season 2, pretty much, which I absolutely adore the show. One of my top wrestlers right now, Shiloh Hill, he was in season 1 and season 2, but like in season 2, you got Michelle McCool and The Undertaker, and they pretty much dominated the whole damn show, point-wise and everything. And it was just too much. But going into that, Natalia is not the only one that is replacing somebody. Somebody else is replacing somebody that made me lose my shit about it. Kevin Owens is now a new coach for LFG. He is taking The Undertaker's place.
I hate to hear that.
I don't.
Not for any, I do, but not for any bad reasons that I think he'll be a bad coach. I hate to hear it, because I'm wondering if that's not him coming to terms with, I'm not going to be able to wrestle anymore. And
I
if
think
that's
they
the
might want him
case,
to do something while he's still under contract and he's still injured.
I just hope Kevin Owens can get back to the ring because
That right
I
there.
think he could be a spark right now, especially in this, whatever the hell the feud's called between the Vision and everybody else, whatever it is. I think he could be that guy that joins the Vision, but as a bull or whatever, a double agent, and then just go in and start, flopping everybody. I could see Kevin Owens and Braun Breaker having a really good match.
Well,
I
I
can
think
see
that
that.
Kevin Owens should have replaced Booker T instead of Undertaker, if you want me to be completely honest about it.
But I'm kind of like Legends. I think that this is kind of signaling that Kevin Owens is probably not coming back to wrestling anytime soon, because of his injury and stuff. And I don't blame him. Safety first. And the good thing is he's still getting paid. I mean, he's still in people's view. He's still on television. So I take that as a win. I know he probably preferred to be wrestling, but I mean, you got to think of your health first.
Yeah.
Oh, agreed. And KO, Kevin Steen, whatever you want to go by, man, get better. But please, Lord, let him be able to get back in the ring. Because to me, Kevin Owens is the type of guy that EWA. That's the type of guy you're going to see. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to have glitz, glamour, and all that. He wears a t-shirt, some basketball shorts, and some kick pads, in the ring with some taped up fists. It's what you're going to see on every indie scene. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what I like about it. Brings a lot of realism to wrestling. He brings the guy that doesn't have the chiseled physique to the forefront and makes him look at him and says, man, I could possibly do that. If he can do that, you know what I'm saying? And good shape, whether his physical body shows that or not, he's in good shape because look at how he can go. He's a Dusty Rhodes type, a man type wrestler. He just has that common look everybody can relate to, and I think that is so much missed right now in WWE. I think he could be such an asset in this Vision storyline and stuff. But congrats to him as far as LFG goes and everything.
I'm excited. I can't wait for the season 3. I'm utterly excited. Here's an upbeat one. I don't know if y'all really want to talk about it or not, but I know the girl. Is Ava. She's the GM for NXT. It's also The Rock's daughter.
Yeah.
Her and her girlfriend came out the other day as a couple, but she happens to be Tatiana Dumas. She was on season 1 and season 2 of LFG. I don't know if you all have heard her or seen her wrestle or anything. I don't know her in her personal life. She seems like a cool person, but I'm kind of scared of her in the ring just because she's so unsafe.
Oh.
When she gets into the ring, she blacks out and her nerves get the best of her and she forgets routine and she forgets actual safety. And
maybe the best thing for her is to become a referee.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that I don't think she's got an actual contract with NXT or even Evolve at this point, but she was on the first 2 seasons of LFG, and I haven't heard if she's going to be on the 3rd or not. But I mean, I like her character and all, but I'm just scared of her in the ring.
If she's not doing good in the ring, I would look other places. Like I said, maybe a referee is what And that's people. There's only, honestly and truthfully, nowadays one referee that I can name, and that's Charles Robinson.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you the name. I know a couple of
Jessica
them.
Carr.
Now, is that the black girl?
No, she is the one that that Becky Lynch keeps getting into it with.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
She's an
But
actual wrestler. She wrestles on Evolve.
her and that other girl that I don't know her name, they're the
I'm trying
only
to think.
two girls that I can remember seeing over and over again. But like I remember back in the day when you knew every wrestler's name.
yeah.
Nick Patrick, Pee Wee Anderson, you know what I'm saying? Charles Robinson, Dave and Earl Hebner. You know what I'm saying? There
Mhm.
was just so many wrestlers that you knew. Mickey, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Mickey something. White, the guy that went around with Andre all the time. I can't think of his name, his first name right now either, because I'm on the spot. But yeah, it's like I knew, I think that's something that like people that can't do it in the ring need to think about, No, maybe I'm
There's
not going
other
to be
jobs.
world champion, yes, but I can still help tell this story by being the best referee in the business. Dave Hebner made a lot of money because he was Dave Hebner. When he went to TNA because he was Dave Hebner, and because you can get anybody to be a wrestler or a referee that knows how to do it. You can get somebody
Mhm.
really good off the indie scene and pay them way less of a salary. But Dave Hebner got to go to TNA and become a big referee again after he was set down by the WWE because he was Dave Hebner. And Nick Patrick. Look at Nick Patrick. He NWO. He was with WCW forever. He was helping to try to crash WWE. But what happened? He's such a great wrestler. He was a second generation guy because his dad was a wrestler. I can't remember who he was right off the top of my head, but he was an asset. He's a great referee. You know what I'm saying? So why would we not bring him in off of name value alone? I miss the days whenever there were more than just the 2 or 4 or 6 guys or girls in the ring that we knew who they were. We knew who Howard Finkel were. We knew who Gary
Mhm.
Michael Capetta was. Those were the announcers, or the ring announcers and stuff. It just, I don't know. I don't think that they emphasize that, which I think in personal feel back into it like it used to. You know what I'm saying? We knew who Jim Ross and Paulie Dangerously on the mic, for Saturday night, WCW Saturday night, or Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura, or it just, you knew that stuff, so it felt more personal. As opposed to, well, I don't know who this referee is. That referee sucks because he missed the count. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I think it's where you don't watch it like everybody else does because I know all the refs. I don't know them by name, but I've seen them all the time. That they're all the same people. I watch them on TikTok personally too, but I think it's just because you don't watch it enough.
I don't know. It just, none of them stick out to me, I guess, anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just where I don't get to watch it and stuff as much as I
Now,
used to, but
I know the cute one, the really pretty one. I know the black. I know
Yeah,
the
like
black
y'all wanted
lady
to
or
talk about the pretty
whatever.
blonde one from NXT, and
Yeah, I know the black chick or whatever, and then I know the one that's that constantly gets in
man,
with Becky Lynch or whatever. Like I
I'm
see
not
her
even
pretty
gonna
constantly.
lie. I got to agree with you on the black chick, dude. I don't know her name, but she's very, very, very good referee. Very
But
good.
but like to go back, to carry the original point about old girl's girlfriend or whatever, and her not being safe. Like if she's not cut out to be a wrestler, or she decides to be a ref. I mean, like there's other options. I mean, you could be an interviewer. I mean, you could be a valet. I mean, there's other avenues to take. Like if you want to stay in the business, you could be part of creative or something like that. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? I mean, like not everybody's cut out to be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't take
mhm,
that as a setback. I would just use that as
I agree.
motivation, to do something else.
Right. Because, you know, again, it's always been a dream of mine to be a wrestler. Man, my little 5 foot nothing ass ain't getting in no ring, getting slung around, especially at my age now. You know what I'm saying? But back then, but just to be able to do this, to sit and talk about wrestling and be involved in it that way. Get invited to shows because we have a podcast. Get invited to, like if I can ever get my blood pressure and my neck fixed and everything, I'm going to try to become a manager. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's other avenues that just because you're not the guy out there with the belt around his waist doesn't mean you can't be a productive part of what's going on and learn how to do more stuff in the business and stuff. I think it's, I think I agree with you. I think she should look down other avenues and everything and see what possibly she could, try her out as a consultant on stories and stuff for NXT and stuff. Sean's all about giving people, young people shots and everything. And that's one thing that I think is helping NXT is I think TKO is more concerned about SmackDown and Raw and those big time stars they have on there than they are NXT. And that's giving Sean the liberty to be able to focus and put the spotlight on some of these younger people. You know what I'm saying? To help and kind of that's what the point of NXT is. You know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that the stories are helping too. You know what I'm saying? It's got young people with good stories, good storytelling that's kind of making NXT shine a little bit more than the two main brands.
Do you think it also going to be just because it could be lower expectation? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it could be, but because of the lower expectation, they're still able to shine those young people. And it be interesting enough that you're developing enough of those young people to where when the inexperienced ones that aren't going to end up doing anything doesn't hurt it as bad. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
If you put a bunch of people up on SmackDown and Raw who can't do a bunch of crap, well, I mean, look what we're witnessing. Rinse, wash, repeat. I mean, that's basically all it is because they have nobody else in the undercard, and the people that they do have that they should be pushing in the undercard, they're burying them every week instead of trying to build them up. Just like, again, to touch on the LA Knight thing, he's been involved with the Bloodline. He's been involved with this Vision thing. But then he's just nowhere to be found at Survivor Series. He gets buried in this tournament by Gunther, and then now he got beat up on the top of a car for no reason. It's just what? They don't know what they're doing with their undercard in the and the main brands, and that's hurting the fact that everything is focused on that, top tier with this Vision crap, and people are tired of it. But with NXT, you've got all the young talent. You got, and they're using the undercard being Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are shining. Even the undercard is shining. You see what I'm saying? It's not just here's this and this is what you get. It's look at all this.
I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, I just kind of look at it as like, just lower expectations. Like Raw and SmackDown are supposed to be the big show, and like NXT is supposed to be pretty much like the developmentally like Ohio Valley. So you're supposed to learn, and then once you get really good, you move up to the Raw and SmackDown. But right now, like like we've kind of said, it's kind of like its own thing, and it is. I don't want to say better, but it has been doing better, in my opinion, to some of the Raw and SmackDown episodes. So, could be. Not 100% sure on that, though.
Well, to lead off on him saying LA Knight, like every time you turn around, here's LA Knight has been written off of WWE programming for a while.
See?
Yes.
It's just,
and it's not it's something political. He has pissed somebody off eternally.
That's what
well, then
I'm
don't
saying.
piss people off, and then you'll be able to get pushed. But you can't. I mean, if it's a political thing, his contract's up in like March or something like that, March or May, one of those 2 months.
I
And that's
seen
the
someone
reason
that
why
said
they
he's
wanted to
still
get
got
rid of him.
multiple years.
Nope, his contract's up in March, and they needed him off of TV for a while, and this is their way of doing it up until March, when they're just going to silently let him go. I'm telling
Well,
you, it's a
if they're not going to use him,
thing.
then they need to let him go and then let him be successful somewhere.
Let him go
Right.
somewhere else and be
And
successful
that's what I'm
instead of
saying. It
just,
makes no sense because you've got him right there. He could be successful
he
here.
pissed somebody off. I heard,
Exactly.
never mind, I'm not going to say what I heard because it may just be a rumor.
Well, and it's probably got a lot to do with him taking that sign and showing it on TV and
It was
stuff.
way before that. Way before that. That just intensified it. He's done something to piss somebody off, but
Right. But at the end of the
I
day,
mean,
how many other, and I'm going to call out my own boy, Sean, which I guess it's different because it was Vince and, it's TKO now. But at the end of the day, the best wrestlers always kind of gave a little flack. You know what I'm saying? To try to get over what they want. Stone Cold. He finally just went to Vince and was like, man, if you ain't going to do nothing with me, let me, kind of just be me.
Yeah.
And then they sent all that, what was it, Frost McFadden and shit and everything, all these them Fang McFrost or what, I can't remember all the stupid names that they sent him.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, just let me be Stone Cold Steve Austin. How many times Stone Cold took his bag and went home because he didn't want to lose to, I think it was Lesnar or Hogan or something. All the greats give a little bit of flack. So, I mean, unless he just like basically slapped Triple H in the face, I don't see the point of not listening to your talent a little bit, but they ain't listening to him at all. So I agree. I mean, but the stupidest thing they're ever going to do is let
I
that
heard
man
he slept
go.
with Stephanie McMahon. So if that's what happened, I can understand them trying to bury his ass.
I don't believe that.
I don't necessarily believe it either, but I've heard it like 2 or 3 times now, and I'm just if that's even remotely true, it makes so much sense. But they can't just like let somebody out of their contract.
I think if
I'm not saying it's true.
I think he would have immediately been taken off the air as soon as that happened, because you can't just not, you can find some reason to release them legally, I guess, but because WWE always protects themselves like that. But I believe if that would have happened, there would have been like an immediate release, buyout, see you later, get the hell away from our, especially with Triple H being the main guy and everything. But at the end of the day, if they end up letting this man go to AEW, that's going to blow AEW up. And that, whether Tony Khan knows what the hell he's doing with anybody in AEW, that's another thing to be seen. But the initial LA Knight showing up on AEW will blow AEW up for a minute. It's just dumb. I don't know.
The whole thing is dumb. The last one I've got is, we always talking about these older wrestlers talking shit about other people. It is not a Bret Hart one. It is not a Bret Hart one. I promise you that.
I'm shocked.
I found another one just because we always do Bret Hart, and this one just happened recently. So, and it's kind of current events almost. She was terrible, Chris Jericho, on Wrestling China 26 years ago. So that she was terrible, wasn't good, but she thought she was. And she was also in a position where she was being pushed really big so she could beat up guys. She couldn't. And like, I never got that credit. No one ever said I had made her look good. It was the other side of the coin. I got in big trouble because at one point when I first started working with her, Vince McMahon said to me, don't treat her like a woman, treat her like a wrestler. And she was really stiff too, worked very strong. I'm not talking bad about her. It's just the truth. We worked together. It was a solid fight in many ways. I remember one time She got a little bit of a black eye for me, and you would have thought I would have cut her arm off with a chainsaw. When we, I'm like, I didn't do it on purpose, but what do you expect? It was a tough position for me to be in. It was my first real angle in the WWF, but I did the best that I could. I hope that I proved some things, but there were a lot of issues with working with her. How do you? I didn't get to actually watch the storyline because I didn't watch it at that point in time. So I was just curious on your all's opinion about that.
All I'm going to say is China was a result of women's wrestling back then.
I agree.
Yeah.
It wasn't that she was she bad? Yes. As far as a wrestler, yes. Was she good for coming in and socking somebody and knocking them out as a valet and manager? Yes, because it was so believable that this big muscular broad could, knock the hell out of you. You know what I'm saying? And for a few seconds, she could get the best of you enough to where the other guy could slip in a win, And don't get me wrong, I love China. Love China to death. I think she was a trendsetter. But as far as a wrestler, yeah, she wasn't good. Very limited. So, I mean, I don't think Jericho meant anything bad by it.
Oh, I don't think he did either. He just,
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to bury her. He was just telling the truth.
Yeah, she's a product of her environment. You know what I'm saying? Like she, back in the day, women just didn't get the same attention they do now. So I think if she would have been in this era, she still would have been a superstar, but she would have been a lot better.
Yep. I got one. Are you done, Vipers?
I am done. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say this. I read a story the other day. I wanted to see if you remembered, you remember the Genius, Uncle Slam?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember his, gimmick before the Genius?
Not really.
Leaping Lenny Poffo. Remember, he would read his poems off the back of a Frisbee and throw the Frisbee out into the crowd.
It sounds familiar, but
it's the Macho Man's brother. Vipers. So I read the story the other day about how he went from Leaping Lenny Poffo to the Genius. And he basically was like, Vince, man, I'm not getting over his Leaping Lenny Poffo. I'm getting over. The fans like me, but I'm not getting over enough to where I'm going to win anything. I'm mid-card enhancement talent at this point. He's like, so what can I do to, get over? He was like, I'll tell you what, pal. He was like, you go and you sit down and you think up a new character for what you think you can do, and we'll talk. Well, like over the next couple of days, he was in promo class. Well, they got him up to do a promo, and he started doing this like Shakespearean type promo. And everybody was like, that was great. You know what I'm saying? They stood up, was clapping, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember who it was, but he went and sat down with another wrestler, and they got to talking and everything. And he was like, I'm going to be Lenny Poffo, the boy genius. So he went to Vince and he was like, I've got my gimmick. And he was like, what's that? And he was like, I heard about your promo, your promo that you did and everything in class, blah, blah, blah. He said, so what character you got for me? He said, Lenny Poffo, the boy genius. He said, I love it, but you're just going to be the Genius. And that's how it all started. I was like, that's great. I was like, the stupidest stuff in the world becomes some of the best gimmicks ever. You know what I'm saying?
Really do.
And like, once he became the Genius and was like on TV with Mr. Perfect and was doing his, spiel, talking like in a Shakespearean accent and stuff, that was great. It was just, I was like, because I remember him being Leaping Lenny Poffo, and I was like, man, this dude, he's good, but he's getting beat up all the time, And I mean, it's not that the Genius ever won anything big, but it made him relevant. you know, to the point to where, I mean, he wrestled Hulk Hogan on Saturday night's main event. You know, just like the Honky Tonk Man said, if you were wrestling Hogan, you knew the paycheck was going to be a lot better that day.
True.
And then, you know, throw on top of it that it was Saturday night's main event too. Hey, just that's all the more better. But I don't have anything else other than I'm just going to go through the rundown of EWA tonight, and then we will get out of here and let you good people do what y'all do on this Saturday afternoon. Tonight, EWA Prime 20 is at Jenny Rogers Community Center in Danville, Kentucky. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7, weather permitting, I'm sure. And we have got a pretty good lineup. They got the rest of the EWA, well, not the rest of it. They've got the next round of the EWA Championship Tournament, which is going to be Ethan Heyer versus Jordan Cage, who is trying to get his EWA title back. And the other match is going to be a battle of friends in Adrian Alexander and Tony Corral. The two winners of that will go on to the finals of the EWA tournament on January 10th of 2026. Tonight, we also have Lexi Green versus Allie Albright for the EWA Women's Championship. We have Riot and James Kendrick in a tag team match against Jacob Ratliff and Steel Wool. We have Alex Angel versus Evil Nate with the Black Dahlia. We have OG Ugly versus Charlie Madsen. And we have another tag team match between Crash Out. They are taking on Ace Carmichael and Cash Atkins. And if everybody remembers right, there's been a little
beef. Didn't they have beef at the last show?
A little bit of beef between Cash and
That worries
Ace.
me.
So we're going to see how that's going to turn out and everything. But yeah, come on out. Like I said, doors open at 6. At 7 o'clock, the show starts. Also, ladies and gentlemen, come out and help us. We are trying to do a fundraiser for the Angel Tree for Salvation Army to help some kids get some Christmas presents. We have not sold any tickets. So come to EWA tonight, get you a ticket, $3. It's the same price as a gallon of gas. You know, don't eat the M&Ms at night. Get your ticket and help some kids. You know, come by the table. We'll be selling tickets till intermission, and then we will be announcing the winner of. We've got 2 shirts that we are giving away. One is a shirt that Adrian Alexander was choke slammed through a table in. And then the other shirt, we are going to be giving away a shirt of your size with autographs from all the talent from EWA tonight. So please come out, get you a ticket, you know, help the kids, and let's just have a good time with wrestling, you know, with the holiday spirit, and, you know, get everybody involved, and let's help these kids out a little bit. You know, it's $3. It's price of, you know, a bag of popcorn, you know. Let's just help out. Anybody else got anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we say here, the referees hit that 3 count, so we are going to ring that damn bell.